Hello everybody, Carl and Aaron here, and we're going to do a nice tune from Georgia, the Skillet Lickers, for all our Patreon supporters, in the key of G, Liberty off of the Corn Liquor Steel, a crooked tune, which is what happens if you stay around the steel too long. You go a little bit crooked when you leave there. So the key of G, and Riley Puckett was the guitar player, of course, Gid Tanner, and it was just a lot of energy in that band, and I think Riley sometimes led the way. He was ahead of the gang sometimes and did his own thing. And we'll do our own thing here and back up Aaron on this tune. And I think you'll enjoy playing Liberty off the Corn Liquor Steel. Thank you, Aaron. That's lovely. Lovely fiddling and a lovely tune.
And a great jam tune there. Yeah. Have fun with that.
Yeah, we'll have fun sorting that out a bit there in the key of G. So thank you, Aaron. So I'll slide in here just a little bit into the guitarist position. So we're in the key of G. And the thing to remember, one of the trickiest parts of that tune is just when it comes back around to repeating the part. I think you'll find, and so one way to do that, we'll kind of sort that thing out on crooked tunes. If you're playing the guitar, it's kind of nice to have a little set thing you might do just to remind you, or just kind of set the place where you know where you are, and you'll be coming back in with a bass walk or whatever. So the first thing, one thing that Riley Puckett does that I really like in this tune, one little lick he does is that's one that comes back around every now and then. It's kind of at the end of the phrase, but that's a nice rhythm when you listen to the backup on a tune or something there. Just notice those things that stand out. That's what stood out to me right away was this little lick. It's the D string. So it's got 2 beats, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're back into things. So it comes around the end of the phrase. So the chorus of this, of course, is going from G to C and D. And you kind of, the melody kind of insinuates an A chord. Riley didn't really put it in there, but I threw it in there some. So it kind of gets back to the old to A or not to A. You know, it's the 2 chord in the key of G. So if you're just thinking of G, C, and D, when you put an A chord in there, like say you're going G, you're not really worried about our bass walks now, and you go to a C, you can stay on C, or you can throw a little A sound in there. So I did that some, and sometimes I didn't. So we'll try it both ways, and you'll have an option there. And I'm sure some bands may throw that 2 chord in, and some probably just stay on the C. And when you listen to Riley on this track, or, you know, there's probably different recordings of it, he just goes all over the place. He's just, like I say, he's leading the way sometimes. And in crooked tunes, I don't know if he even thought about it being crooked, but he was kind of going all over the place. I don't know if he knew where he was half the time, but he was just playing with such energy and reckless abandon. It just sounds great. So that's another lesson for us all. You know, if you're enthusiastic and just play and you're having fun, that comes across, you know. So anyway, we'll start out with, it has a little lead in. So it comes in on the a 2-beat pickup. So you got 1, 2, ba-da-da-da-da. So we're going to come in on this G, and I'll just do a few things, give you some ideas. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. We come in on 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Without a bass, we're doing maybe 6 and 5, and I do 6 and 4, and maybe a C walk there, and then we're going up. Scoop there, D chord, and I do a little thumb hook maybe. And here's that lick that Riley did a lot. And here's where you want to think about, you got kind of a 1, 2, do, just think of your bass, 1, 2, and then you got a 2-beat that pickup to walk. So you can do a little 2-beat walk there. So let me just do halfway through that first part, kind of slow there. And if we're thinking about coming in, of course, if the fiddler does a potatoes or something, you could do a bass walk in. But if they're just starting in like Aaron did, you got to come in on that after the pickup. So 1, 2, ba 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 ba, G, and I'm doing that D string and a quick little walk to C, back and forth a little bit and scoop to the 4th fret. D chord, I'm doing 4, 5, and the thumb hook and the Riley lick. Then you got pick strum, pick strum, pick strum, pick strum. Then you can do that walk for starting again. That's the little trick there. You can try that thing for C. Might be nice. You can do, just experiment with what you're doing there. Same chord progression there. Stop there for a second. So that's kind of insinuating an A chord. This little C walk, that's kind of giving you what would be an A chord, a quick A chord. But he does that note, but he's not really playing the A chord. So let's do that again. And if I put an A chord in there, we could go like to that up to a C. You could do to hear that. There's a real A sound. You can put a big A sound, and I think I'll do that in the second part, maybe. Again, you'll have the option to do it or not. And your bass walks kind of insinuate chords, even if you're just playing one note. The listener is going to fill in whatever they think is happening there. So everybody's brain's a little different. But let's do that first part again, nice, kind of slow. And again, it's Liberty off the Corn Liquor Steel in the key of G. And we'll say the fiddler, if they did potatoes, it'll be dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da. You could walk if they had potatoes. To C, we stay there a while, and I'm going to scoot to that 4th fret. Kind of insinuates the A, D, 4, 5, thumb hook, and the Riley lick, we'll call it. Pick strum, do that twice, then you can walk into the repeat. That's that crooked 2 beats. We could do a little long, slow walk, maybe to C. If you want to do an A, you can do an A chord. And D, the same thing. We'll do the same little thing again. And again, you got the 2 times on that. And we're going to go to the second part. And another, thinking about landmarking your crooked part, one thing you might do, and I think what I did when I was backing up Aaron, not even thinking about it, I'd hit the 4th string I'd go like pick, strum, 6 and 5, and then I'd hit the 4th string for my last, knowing I'm fixing to do a walk. I'd hit that 4th string right before my walk and the repeat of the tune. So let's try that one time. And I'm going in G, 6, 5, 6, my landmark note, time to walk, and you're repeating. So let's try that. And that's going to do the same thing. We can walk up to what I do on the second part in a second there. So again, the A chord, I'm just barring that A chord there. But, and just keep in mind that little 2 chord in the key of G, it's an A chord, but coming out of the C, it sounds like the old a ragtime kind of walk progression, right, out of the C chord to A. And if you're doing any kind of shape, if you're playing a C up here, like this A bar down here, it'd be 3 frets back, kind of like a walk right in, sit right down, or, a lot of songs, Alabama Jubilee, all those kind of songs that do that. So anyway, here we go. One more time on the first part. And I'm going to use the 4th string for that landmark last bass that lets me know I'm about to walk and repeat or go into the second part. So, and this time we'll just say the fiddle's doing the pickup without the potato. So it's 1, 2, boom, bop, here we go. A little slower. Hit the 4th string, they're going to walk to C, kind of fast. Stay there, alternate a little bit. We'll do the little scoot to the 4th fret. You can pick it. Try all kind of different rhythms. Here's the Riley lick, we'll call it. And here's pick strum, pick strum. Let's hit the 4th string right here. Starting over the bass walk. That's repeating the first part. You can try something different. Riley lick to C, baby. Try the A chord. And D. Then we'll do that Riley lick again. Pick strum, low. Now hit the 4th string. Landmarks my second part coming up, that 2-beat phrase. And what I did as Aaron was playing it, I went up on the 4th string, kind to the top of the scale. And you can either do this with just the second and third string. I'm just going to do a little descending 5, 4, 3. And we're going to go to a 2-finger C. But you can keep that third string on the 3rd fret as a drone, like a lot of flat pickers will do for a G tune. So why don't we try that? So I'm going to go up to that. We hit our bass to the landmarker start. So we had just a G chord. We walk up to 4, 5, and I'm catching my 3rd finger on the 5th fret, my 1st finger on the 3rd fret 2nd string. So leaving the 3rd string as a drone. We're just taking a half step, and then I'm scooting around and getting the 3 and 3 with that 3rd string in between open. That's a G7 sound. So we're just going from the note G, getting a major 7, a pretty sound, and a bluesy sound. Then I'll walk up to a 2-finger C, and a C here, and then I did a quick little A bass. And then we're back to kind of thinking like the first part. You can go back to Riley Bucket Land. And again, 2 times. And then the 4th bass is that 4th string, leading back to the repeat. 2-finger C with a walk up, open, down, C, and we'll do that again just for fun. And something here, a different little, just that rhythm. Here's what I like to do, just doing the open low bass and doing a. So I'm doing 3 notes on the bass string open, 1, 2, and then the 5th string open. That same Riley rhythm. Hear the same rhythm? So one big thing of this lesson is just try to put that rhythm in there a lot of different places and go into different chords and see what you can come up with. You know, so that's a nice one. That's just one I came up with, is kind of being inspired by the Riley lick rhythm there. So the second part, one more time. Say I'm coming up to just the G6, 5, and the 4th string's going to lead us up. Here we go up to the second part. 2, 4, 5, 4, 3. Walk to a 2-finger C, open 4th, down to a regular C, and I'm barring the A, D, and we'll do the Riley lick there if you like. And then you get 6, 5, 6, 4 is our landmark note, right? That lets us know we're repeating with that crooked maneuver. Get that A chord, and we'll try my little lick of this along the low bass. And you can always cascade up the chord, right? So one thing, let's just make up a little exercise for a second for fun. We'll try both parts. I think you'll find, just kind of let your, you can do, with any bass walk, you can really do a lot of different rhythms with the same notes. So that's something to always keep in mind. You know, it can be slow, or, it can be syncopated or right on the beat. And of course, the more notes you want to put in there, the sooner you got to start or the faster you got to play them. So a lot of variables. But the main thing, I think, once you just play over and over a progression, you don't want to overemphasize that A chord if you put a 2 chord in there, I don't think, unless you really want to get kind of jazzy with it, which might be a different approach. Listen to some different bands, how they play this, and see if they put an A in there. I haven't really investigated a whole lot. I just know it's kind of a natural in the melody where it goes up. You know, it goes up, that A note really features that A note in there. So that definitely would sound fine with an A. And if you if you think about just playing a C chord with an A in there, it's like you'd be like an A minor shape almost with that. It's really a jazzy C if you just keep the C kind of as your featured bass, you know. So it becomes a jazzy sound if you stay in C, which is great too. So it becomes a little more bluesy or ragtimey if you go to A maybe. So here's that. Let's just think about doing a little exercise, going from that little. Just make a little thing like this. Even you could do just that lick, the Riley lick. You can do it there, right? You could also do the same rhythm, right? So you can try all kind of different notes with that same da 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 boom. You know, like boom a chicka boom. You know, just that 2 beats. You know, it's like 3 and 4 and you're on the root of your chord. Let's just try going from G to C to D and see if we can find a lick that works with. You know, I'm just going to use that 5th string and move over. Might have to shake. Then here it's going to be a little that'd be kind of nice. Let's just try that. This is a little exercise and might give us some ideas for little licks you could try in the Liberty Off the Corn Liquor Steel. So I'm just using the 5th string and doing, again, it's really good for your pick dexterity. You know, we might just talk about that for a minute before we just go through the tune one more time. But so I'm using that 5th string open, and back to the second fret and open again, and then low 2 into a G. So you're outlining this little G chord with a little. Let's just try that a few times on this, just a G. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can do it over and over. And I'm just picking my pick. Down, up, down, up, down. So the down beat usually gets the down pick, and that's just alternate picking, they call it. And really good to get just where you have a very relaxed and solid, steady rhythm. Some people practice with a metronome, which is good. If you got a good clock, you can listen to the tick-tock of a clock and practice there. Of course, you can't change the time with that, but just let's try the same thing for C. It'd be the 4th string, and again, you might use your second finger now because you want to arrive at a C chord if you want to get a strum there. Right? Let's try the G again, and I'm using, and the C. Now the D chord is going to be, you have to kind of keep a pivot point. The open string was our pivot. Now this becomes our anchor, so to speak. So you're going to do that. First finger stays down. You get the 4th fret on the 4th string, and you go back and pivot over to that that note of an A chord there, the middle note of an A chord. And a D chord. Try that a few times. Just copy that same rhythm. And then you're going to have the same thing with the 3rd string. It'll work for us to get to G because of our tuning difference. So let me do the whole thing there. That'd be a great little exercise, and you could use those runs in the Liberty off the Cornelius Still. So 1, 2, G, and the C. First finger gets ready for the pivot, and 3rd string pivot. And you might go back down, you know, maybe go back down with the Riley lick. And again, you could try to vary it there, right? So we're staying on 2 strings, pattern. And the Riley lick, so to speak, is 3 strings, right? And that's going to be a little more involved. So I'll leave you to think about those kind of things. Starting, one lick leads to another, you know. You just get a... And you got to be always exploring, but also as you play, try to let your, try not to get too worried about it, but just really try to keep your steady time and let the fiddler kind of lead the way, and you'll be amazed sometimes at what happens there. So let's just look at both parts, kind of what we've outlined, and what my tab will kind of have some of this in there. And again, the more you do it, the more ideas you'll get. And Riley did a whole bunch. So if you listen to him on the recording, he's kind of going in and out of the timing and just going crazy with some of his basses get kind of backwards, which is okay, but he keeps plowing right through and keeping the energy going great. So kind of like Narmer Smith, some of those, they just play with such enthusiasm. It's infectious, you might say. So anyway, let's try it one more time. So I'm going to start saying the fiddler's going without the potatoes. So they're going to be that 3rd and 4th beat. It'd be like 1, 2, boom, 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 and we're coming in on the first beat. So 1, 2, ba da 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 da, G chord, and I'm gonna hit that 4th string with a quick C walk, and you can wait for that little scoot if you like. D down to the thumb hook, and we're gonna do that little Riley lick, and pick strum twice. We'll hit the 4th string for our landmark. Starting again, bass walk. There's that 2 beats we have to keep up with. Good. C walk. You can do a different walk if you like. Maybe do a little scoot back and forth. D chord. The Riley lick. 1, 2, 3. The 4th string leads us up to that landmark note. Up to the 5th fret. 4, bluesy. Walk to C. And the 5th string. Open A bar. Riley lick. 1, 2, 3, 4th string landmark. Walking back up. So G and a G7. A bar. We'll try my variant. All on the low string right here. That's nice. So I hope you'll enjoy doing that. And again, I've kind of set those 2 parts. I made a distinction there, working up on the higher string sets. And I'm all about playing smaller string sets, and also in a 2-part or 3-part tune, try to do something a little different on each part, which is kind of a challenge sometimes. But I think you'll find it's more fun for you, and it also helps you keep up with where you are. If you're getting a little daydreamy and the music's going great, you want to say, oh yeah, I'm on the second part, I'm up here. So, and think about that little, taking that down, and how you can do that in different places, you know. Just to give you a last little teaser, if you were up here playing high string, right, you do that. So you can start to see how you can fall down. I'm just doing a little D shape, and there's my G note. Right, just taking that down to the A, then you're just in D. So you can play a little higher there. And also another variable too, just one last thing, is depends on how many instruments are in the band. If you have a lot of instruments, playing up high might sound nice. You know, if you have another guitar player, in other words, and they're playing open, you might want to sound like a capo guitar. Without a capo, you could be playing up these higher string sets. So mainly just play a bunch every day. I think music is wonderful therapy. And if you haven't ever listened to the Skillet Licker, go check out Gid Tanner and Clayton McMitchen and all those guys, Fate Norris and Riley Puckett, all those guys. They made some wonderful music, and they were kind of having a big time too, and you can tell on their recordings. I'm sure a lot of you heard it, but if you haven't, I think you'll be enthralled and inspired. So take care and pick a lot of guitar.